Hey everyone. Hey, sorry about that little accident. A little backstory, about what happened. Um, so eventually, um, I was beginning to read, chapter 2. It's just like, it was just like, and I was, beginning to, I don't know when I was beginning to read, the chapter 2, which is my favorite part of the story. Spoiler alert. Um, then suddenly, music started to play on my TV, and it was my dad's country music. It was just like, whoa, what happened? And I scattered throughout my entire house to see who did it, and I went to my dad's office, and it's just like, what the heck is going on? And it's it was funny. It's just like it was funny. So sorry for the technical difficulties. So with that out of the way, uh so first off, sorry for the cut, like the ridiculous cut. It's just like it's just like So, to answer your questions on Discord, no, it wasn't too serious. It was just technical difficulties. It's just like I did explain on what happened. Oh goodness me, goodness me. So yeah, yeah. First off, I gotta use the bathroom. I've been holding it for like a few minutes. Oh my goodness. Oh, that part was so funny. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to. Oh, oh shoot. Oh my goodness. Unfortunately, that part was so funny. My goodness. Oh my goodness. So, yeah. so, so, um, yeah. This is a fanfic, like a little experimentation of what if Morag never existed. A Loud House movie fanfic. So, so of course, as you can see, this was written by me and Alec, who who and we spent like 5 hours on this story, if I recall, and it was so much fun. Uh, we joked around, we had fun. It was just like, oh my goodness, if I'd ever return to that moment, holy cow. So anyway, um, here are the rules. So I went over it on the first attempt, but I will say this again. So rule one, uh, as I stated as I stated earlier, if you stuck around on the first stream, this is an experimentation fanfic. So don't ask me to do any more fanfictions until I have like a clean slate, because this was it was fun writing these stories. So yeah. Rule 2. Spam links are not allowed. So you know, spam links are bad. It's like they pop around and it's like ruin the perfect moment. It's just like happens. It's just like the spam bot came on. It's just like, and it was, oh my goodness, it was a P bot. And yes, I said the word P because I don't want to say the full word. You can fill in the 3 blanks. So I don't want any spam bots or spam links, so please don't. And also, rule 3, have fun. So, and I will stutter, and whatnot, and I'm, So anyway, without any further ado, let's begin for the second time. So, what if Morag never existed? Written by Brody Mosby, aka the Cartoon Finder, and Alec. Chapter 1. Same setting, different events. Our story begins just the same in the original. The Louds arrived in Scotland, discovered they have ancestors who founded a town called Loch Cloud, and they made their way to the castle. But at the castle, where we'll meet Morag in the bathroom, we'll be shown a different room with a woman with red hair, a Scottish dress, and appears to be the same age as Angus, which happens to be so. This is Angus's sister, named Lizzie. She heard what was going on outside and took a look out the window. And lo and behold, the Louds inside the castle's courtyard. She became surprised and a bit nervous. Not too nervous like Morag was in the original, but she heard about the Louds being chaotic and crazy due to the rumors of the original caretaker of the castle once said. When the Louds made it inside, Lizzie sprang downstairs to meet these new, yet old, visitors. My goodness, is it really true? Are you guys the Louds that I've heard so much about? Lizzie asked in curiosity while she makes her way down the steps. Not answering her sister's question, Angus picked his sister up and hugged her excitedly. Our dreams have come true, Lizzie. The Louds are back after 400 years, Angus squealed. Great, but can you ease up the pressure, please? Lizzie strained as Angus realized his mistake and sets his companion down. Loud family, may I introduce you all to Lizzie, my sweet sister, Angus said as Lizzie gives the Louds a nice little bow down. It's so nice to meet the Louds in person after hearing so much about you all, Lizzie explained as Angus continues his excitement. I can't believe the Louds have returned to the rightful place. Well, only for a week, Rita Loud replied, much to the reaction of both Angus and Lizzie going from joy to concern. What? They both said as Lizzie added, oh well, the Louds are on holiday. Guess they should make the most of it by staying at the castle. The Louds all gasped excitedly. You mean it? They squealed as Angus replied, why, Lizzie, that's a wonderful idea. It's their family's castle after all. Exactly, Lizzie exclaims as the Louds went to her and gave her a big hug. Unlike Morag, who felt uncomfortable, Lizzie felt warm with all the love from the Louds. As Angus continues to explain the history of the bloodline, he offers the Louds the option to explore the rest of the castle at their free will. Much like the original, the difference is with Lizzie being very happy of the reactions. Oh, children, always so excited for new things. I'll go check to see if they need anything, Lizzie says as she goes upstairs. As the rest of the movie goes on, we cut to the dining room scene where things become really different. It's really nice to see you all. It's really nice to have you all here. Although you won't be staying for longer, we really hope you enjoy the wonders of Loch Clown with the time you have left. Although not everyone can handle the chaos of a big family, really is wonderful to have Louds back home where they originate from, Lizzie explains. Then Lincoln asks about how to become the Duke. Angus explains that it isn't simple, and and that he must help out the people in order to become one. As Lizzie and Angus head back to their cabin, Lizzie can't express how much she loved hanging out with the Louds for the first time in their history. Today was awesome! The Louds were super nice and wholesome. I would love it if they could say, but alas, we must make the most of it. Angus replies, "Don't worry, Lizzie. I'm sure we'll find a way to make everything work out. Let's see what tomorrow has in store for us and the Louds." Before the day ends, though, Lucy manages to bring back one of her ancient siblings, reanimating them in their ghostly form. The next day, Lincoln prepares himself to become the Duke, and after a wonderful song performance by him, Angus, and the whole town, Lizzie sadly had to remind him the truth. "This is all wonderful, but sorry to be a Debbie Downer, but Lincoln, you're only here for a week." After the townspeople were dumbfounded and disappointed, they all left. Lizzie and Angus surrounded Lincoln and told him not to worry, as the people wanted him to become the Duke, and all he needed to do was convince his family to move over to Scotland. And I love the support so far. After his presentation almost backfired, he pulls out the ultimate trick up his sleeve and brings up the ultimate downfall of home: one bathroom. That convinces everyone to move over to the delight of Lincoln. The coronation commences with Lizzie explaining the full truth on what happened to the Louds in a small sentence, instead of what Morag did in the original. Also, unlike Morag, she didn't hesitate on putting the crown on Lincoln. She was very delightful of him. The Louds are back at home forevermore. It's getting dark in here. There we go. Okay, I love some light. Chapter 2, A Grueling Fate. After the montage of the Louds celebrating with their new home, we cut to Lucille and Lucy talking to each other, and Lucille begins to explain. What Lizzie said at the coronation was true, but there's more to the story than anyone else would possibly know. She begins to explain as we flash back to the time when the ancient Louds were finally returning home. And of course, heads up. Sorry, catching my breath. Heads up, you might want to sit down and listen good, because these said events are actually jam-packed. The original story would happen a bit with the dragon being under control by old Aggie. But in this version, the Duke, who we're going to call Lyndon, realizes something is up with the dragon. "Hold up, dear Lucille," Lyndon said as Lucille tried to explain on their ancient lore. Lyndon would notice on his pet dragon's eyes. They were a shade of crimson purple. The eyes are glowing purple. Doesn't that seem odd to you guys?" Lyndon asked to his fellow family. They all nodded and agreed. Blaney, who's Lenny's ancestor, says otherwise. "I thought it was always like that." The other Louds face palmed. Lyndon states that something is wrong and they'll have to get to the bottom of it. He tells his mother, Margarita, Rita's ancestor, to continue heading into the town to see what is going on. As they try to head into town, Lolo turns them back violently with her wings, but the Louds continue on. But they continue to go off course, and Lyndon notices something on a distant hill. It's the caretaker, old Aggie. She appeared to be holding some sort of stone. Lyndon realized what was going on now. He turns to his family and explains to them what is happening. But as they try to head over to the island where Aggie is located at, Lolo's force from her wings was too strong as it sets the ship flying over and crashes near Aggie. Whew! It's taking the breath out of me. Lyndon approaches to confront her, but Aggie has a trick up her sleeve. If they make another step, she will make Lolo burn the Louds alive. Lyndon asks Aggie, "Why are you doing this? What have we done to make you like this?" Aggie replies, "You foolish boy. You have taken everything away from me. My peace and quiet, my sanity, my patience, everything. When you're out of the way, my suffering will finally end, even for all future generations of my blood." Lyndon and his family tries to reason with her to see if they can come up with a solution that can work with everyone. She thinks about it. "You're right. I should second think about this. If I wasn't a harebrained idiot with power!" She whips her staff towards the family, and Lolo does the unthinkable. She burns the family alive as they scream in agony. Lyndon yells, "No!" Aggie realizes what had happened and laughs in victory. Lyndon starts getting angry and charges at Aggie, and they fall off a cliff. Luckily, there's a rock platform underneath Lyndon, but Aggie falls into the water. Lyndon looks toward her and sees her getting eaten whole by a shark that was below. He was grossed out, but relieved at the same time. Hey, goodbye. So long, Aggie. He looked at the stone once he disconnected it from the scepter, and with all of his frustration and sadness that he couldn't save his beautiful family, he destroys the stone with a rock as it shatters into thousands of tiny little pieces. Lolo is free from the mind control and helps Lyndon get back up the hill. He then breaks down crying as his family is nothing but a pile of burnt bones. He failed to protect them, but he tries to keep his chin up. "Lolo, we should return to the castle and tell the news on what happened." We cut back to Lucille and Lucy as Lucille reveals the depressing ending of Lyndon's story. He told everything to the town and relinquished his role of Duke afterwards. He compared the stress of being Duke, especially after losing his family. So, shortly after a few days, he passed away from a broken heart. Lucy is now crying herself and states with a heartbreaking tone in her voice, "Lucille, that's awful. I'm very sorry to hear what happened to all my ancient cousins. Such a scary fate. I don't know what else to say." Lucy replies, "You don't have to say anything else if you don't want to. The fact is, I'm worried about Lincoln. I fear that a similar fate might happen if he's not careful with his newfound power." Chapter 3. Mad with Power. Meanwhile with Lincoln, on cue, we cut to Lincoln telling the huge news to his best friend Clyde while Lizzie is outside his door, overhearing everything. After Lincoln finishes the call, he begins to explain on what he can do with his power. Lizzie started to become very suspicious. Lizzie hurries to any sisters that she finds first, and then hears Luna's bagpipes going off in her room. She heads in and sees Luna playing with the Scottish instruments. Lizzie compliments her. "Bravo, Miss Luna, an outstanding performance." Lizzie chuckled as she replied with a thank you. Lizzie then asked her, "Mind if I ask you, have you noticed anything different about Lincoln?" "I'd tell you if I knew. Why is that?" Luna wondered. Lizzie then explained that Lincoln might go mad with power, which concerns her. Buy McSwagger's guitar pick! That's horrible! Luna gasped as Lizzie asked the rock star, mind if you can... Mind if you keep an eye on your brother in case this happens? If it does, contact me or Angus about it. You got it, Liz! I'll tell the other sisters about it! The more eyes and ears, the better! Sorry about my Luna impression. Luna answers as she begins to tell everyone about the news. And when it got to Lucy and Lucille, the ghost sister gasped. Oh no, it's coming true. Lincoln might get himself killed if he goes too far. Lucy then assures her, that won't happen. We will make sure of it. Lincoln's been there for us. It's time for us to do the same. Meanwhile with Lincoln, he goes out for a walk outside of the castle, trying to think on what he can do as Duke. But while on his walk, he notices something glowing. He gets close to it and wonders to himself, I wonder what is under here. He calls Lana, who helped Lincoln dig up the mysterious object. Lincoln pulled it out and it appeared to be a purple dragonstone. Lincoln marveled at its purple-tinted glow. He then gets an idea as he smirks with a devious smirk. Lana asked, what do you think it is, bro? Lincoln turned to Lana and replied, I don't know, but I'm gonna find out. They head back into the castle, and Lincoln asked Lizzie and Angus about the stone. They gasped in shock. Is that what I think it is? We were told that it was the only one and it got destroyed. Angus and Lizzie exclaimed in fear. Lincoln was confused a bit as Lizzie tries to get the stone off of the young boy's hands. Lincoln, lad, give us the stone. Lincoln yanked it away, curious on what it does. Why? What does it do? Dangerous things can happen if not careful with this lad, Angus replied softly. Lincoln was curious even more. It felt like the stone was calling for him to use it. Lincoln, you don't want to do this. It'll make things worse than it did 400 years ago, Lizzie said as she became a bit concerned. How should you know on what happened during that time? Lincoln replied. She tried to snatch it away from him as quickly as possible, but Lincoln was quick on his feet, thanks to Lynn Jr.'s training on him. I want to know what this stone does, Lincoln said as he races out of the room. Angus and Lizzie became very worried as they ran after him. Lincoln managed to lock the doors to his room once he got there. He looked at the stone as he began talking to it. What do you do? Lincoln asked as the stone glowed. You control the dragon so the user can use the dragon to its will? It is very dangerous. Lincoln grew a bit concerned, but his worries faded away once the stone told him that he can do this in order to get more power, which toyed the young boy's mind. You think so? Well, I am worried that everyone, including my sisters, might overpower me. If this can help me, I'll do it. Overhearing the conversation, Angus and Lizzie became very worried. Angus, this is bad. Very bad, Lizzie said nervously. That stone is dangerous if Lincoln uses it more. Come on, sister. We have to warn the other louds, Angus replied as they ran off to warn the others. The stone tells Lincoln that in order for it to work, it has to connect with the royal scepter. Lincoln then grabbed the royal scepter and heads outside of the middle door of his room, and safely makes it on the courtyard ground. He then races to the dragon cave to see a sleeping teenage Leela. I'm sorry, Leela, Lincoln said as he puts the stone on the scepter. Leela woke up with a purple-tinted glow in her eyes as she raised her head to reveal what Lincoln had done, much to his surprise, yet a bit of a horrified expression. Oh my goodness, Lincoln said, but gave out a toothy grin like he hit the jackpot, which he did with newfound power. Chapter 4, Epilogue. Well, I shouldn't have done that. Chapter 3.5, Mad with Power Part 2. Angus and Lizzie warned the other Louds and told them to follow them into the Dragon Cave, as they had a hunch on what Lincoln was going to do. Lucille started getting more nervous as what she said about Lincoln was getting truer and truer by the second. They hid into the cave, but it was too late. Lincoln had controlled the sweet, innocent Leela with the stone. Lizzie claims, "Lincoln, you can't do this." Angus replied, "She's right, lad. Don't you know what you're doing? This could be catastrophic for us all." Lincoln hopped on the dragon's back. I'm sorry, guys, but in order for me to be a powerful duke, this is the only way," he said as he soars into the town sky. "We have to stop him before he hurts anyone. If anything happens to him and the townspeople," Angus exclaimed as he, Lizzie, and the other Louds raced into town. At the town, Lincoln flies over the town and exclaims, "Hello, Loch Loud!" I lost my part. Thanks, Lil Sim. He continues once he landed on the roof of a building. "So anyways, I found a stone that strengthens my dragon so I can be the most special Loud of them all. Even more special than the original Duke himself." "What do you think about that?" Lincoln asked the town as they grown a bit concerned for the Duke. One townsperson asked, "Are you sure this won't cause any problems, your Dukeship?" Lincoln claims, "Guys, relax. There's no problem with this. As long as I'm here, I'm going to make sure I'll be the best Duke anyone has ever seen." Lincoln then whips his scepter to the side as he accidentally made Leela's tail hit a chunk of the building behind him. Lincoln realized what had happened, and that caused the townspeople to gasp and grow more concerned for the young Duke. "Are you sure this is safe, sir?" another townsperson asked. It's only a small spike. I'll get the hang of this soon," Lincoln exclaimed as he accidentally fired a small fireball at the bell tower as it blew into pieces, and also caused the bell to bounce around, destroying everything in its path. Lincoln gasped as he began to realize that maybe everyone was right. Feeling unsafe, Lincoln flew off, heading back into the castle and back to the Dragon Cave. Chapter 4, Epilogue. When Lincoln gets back to the cave, he gets off of Leela and removes the stone from the scepter. Leela returns back to normal and sees as she sees the Duke all confused. Looking at the stone, the young boy gets angry and tosses the stone to the wall, shattering it quite a bit. Lincoln then started to feel disgruntled about his action. "Oh man, what have I done?" Lincoln said as he began to swell up with tears. Unable to gain the urge of being seen by others, he runs off to his room, crying. A few minutes later, the Louds, Angus, and Lizzie managed to receive word that Lincoln is at the castle. They went back to the castle to see what had happened. Lizzie managed to take a peek at the now shattered stone. It was useless now. At least it's over for the stone. Lizzie sighed in relief as she managed to meet back with the others. Meanwhile, in Lincoln's room, it was dark. The shaders were drawn, the sunlight peeked just a bit, and Lincoln was on his bed with a pillow over his head. "I'm the worst Duke ever," Lincoln muffled under the pillow. Then he heard voices of his sisters as they all came into his room. Everyone wasn't mad at him, but more concerned about his actions. "Are you okay, bro? What was all that, bro? Are you hurt?" The sisters all asked in concern Lincoln claims, I'm the worst Duke ever. I hurt the town and I'm to blame for that. Lizzie then steps in and states, that wasn't your fault, sire. Lincoln lifted his pillow up, seeing her. It was the dreaded stone that was the problem. We tried to warn you, but you didn't listen. Lincoln then replied, I'm very sorry about that. I was just curious about what it can do and if it can help me be a better Duke. Luann then claimed, well, you know what they say, curiosity killed the cat. The family then exclaimed, Luann, seriously, dude, not cool, wrong time. Lizzie then felt like it was the right time to explain everything, but requests that the family leaves the room for a private talk with Lincoln. They understood and left the room, allowing Lizzie and Angus to explain everything. Lizzie said, Sire, I was reluctant to tell you the story of what happened to your ancient family. Angus replied, but we feel like it's time you found out the truth and why we wanted to protect you when you found the stone. But before they can do any of that, Lucille enters the room. Wait, Lincoln, you must, before you find out about what happened to us, please know that this will break your heart and you'll find out why. Angus and Lizzie were trying their absolute hardest to protect you. As Lizzie, Angus, and Lucille revealed the sad fate of Lyndon Loud and his family, Lincoln was tearing up even worse than he did before. No, it can't be. Can't be the fate of my great cousin. No, Lincoln states as he feels the most awful he's ever been in his life. Lizzie then stated, I'm sorry we had to tell you this, but this wasn't done to protect you. We didn't want you to suffer the same fate as Lyndon. Lincoln felt bad about himself. He took the crown off his head and glanced at it. I'm very sorry. I abused the power of a duke. I abused my family's legacy. I was selfish, and I didn't listen to you. I don't deserve to be the duke anymore. Angus stated, No, don't say that, sire. We all have bad days, and we know you can be a better duke. Not just for us and your family, but for the people of Loch Cloud. Lucille replied, I agree. You can learn from these mistakes and improve yourself to be a better duke and a better person. You can do it, Lincoln. Never give up. That made Lincoln wonder about it for a moment or two. He then decided to gather the whole town up, and finally he started his little speech. Give credit for Alec on this little part. Ever since we came here, I wanted this crown more than anything. I thought if I had it, I'd be really special, and like my sisters. But when I wore it, all I cared about was what it would do for me, not what I could do for you. I'm sorry for being selfish. The thing is, two people kept trying to tell me what it means to wear the crown, but I wouldn't listen. I'm sorry for that too. That's why there's only two people who I feel deserve to wear this crown. Angus and Lizzie. Everyone, even Angus and Lizzie, gasped. With the powers vested in me by the royal Loud family, I dubbed thee the Duke and Duchess of Loch Cloud. Angus and Lizzie initially refused, as they thought they were just only groundskeepers of the castle. But the people agreed with Lincoln's decision and encouraged them, saying that they're more than that. They're family, and they've always been there for them. Then, shockingly, Lyndon and his family showed up and agreed with Lincoln's decision too. The people have spoken! Everyone was shocked at the sight of the ancient Louds. Lyndon states, a more worthy Duke and Duchess I've never laid eyes upon. For you two are the true caretakers of our home and us all. Angus and Lizzie replied, Thank you, your dukeship. Angus then hands the crown to both of Angus, and Lizzie replied, of them as they hold it together. Well, blow our bagpipes. Angus and Lizzie replied together as as the town cheers for them. The sisters then gathered Lincoln and praised him for his decision, but then asked him, why did he say he isn't special? He then replied, you're all so good at everything. You win trophies, get your pictures taken, and I wanted to be special too. Then they all assured him that what he says is nonsense. He then and that he is just as special to them more than anything else in the world, and assures that he's the most special brother ever. Lincoln had a big warm smile on his face. I'm good with that. Lily then says, I love you, Lincoln. The family goes, aww, and they hug their brother with love. The next day, the Louds, along with the ancient family, Angus and Lizzie, and the whole town, rebuilt all of Rock Cloud that was destroyed, and made it even better for everyone. They then celebrate with a huge party with the Louds hanging out with their ancient counterparts and having a wonderful time. Angus and Lizzie approach Lincoln and claim that they'll miss him a lot. He hugs them and claims if they need any advice, they can call him at any time. They assured him that they will, as he's a man with a plan, patent pending, and all three had a final chuckle together. Then the Louds finally head back home, and everyone waved goodbye. Lincoln then says one last line that will resonate with him and his family for the rest of their lives. That was one family vacation we'll never forget. The end. Yep. Give me and Alec a round of applause. Yep. So, that was basically it. And, oh boy. That was a mouthful. Honestly. Oh boy. And I'm sorry, texting my mom. Sorry about that. She was complimenting about what I said earlier about the profanity. I'm sorry about that. What do I need to say? It's just like, and thank you for the support. Thank you. Disgruntled. Not in the. No, that's mean. Disgruntled. Slipped out. Dealing with the ongoing battle against man and machine, aka spam bots. There. So what? Before I end the stream, what is your favorite? Honestly, what's your favorite part? Come on, I want to hear it. So, what's your favorite part? Yeah, the flashback was my favorite too. Ooh, having an epic flashback is tight. If you get that reference, just say it. Oh boy. And I know a bunch of questions are going to be raised after this, but um do do um do note it's like I know what the main questions are going to be. If the Louds are dead, if the original Louds are dead, wouldn't that mean they wouldn't even exist? How is this even possible and whatnot? It's just, first off, I think honestly they Lucille can like have some like big ritual where she could have the Louds like be born like born once again, like not from the dead anymore. It's just like, you can say that they're just like ghosts in a way. It's just like a part of the, so that also might explain the question on why the ancestors were in the forms they were originated from, because they died like soon after they founded Roy Woods, and they in order for like to continue the legacy of the Louds and make sure that the Louds will return to the rightful place, they would create these, they would create like splits to the soul or whatnot. I don't know, fantasy nonsense, and I know Xavier's going to be like, fantasy? I thought it was like slice of life or something like that. It's just like, yeah, I know, but this story is like something to turn your mind off and just enjoy. It's just like, I know there were a lot of problems to the story, but deal with it. It's just my first. Yeah, this is dedicated to Asher Bishop, who played a phenomenal part in the original movie. And kid, if you're watching this, I hope you get soon. Get plenty of rest, and we all love you, despite not you like being Lincoln Loud anymore. It's just like since you're getting older and whatnot, I would love to see you continuing the dream being a famous star in Hollywood. It's just like, and yes, it's true. Asher Bishop is not playing Lincoln Loud anymore. Bentley Griffin, who I think is the another son of Greg Griffin, if I'm correct, is replacing Asher Bishop as Lincoln Loud. And I've heard his voice, and holy cow, he sounds like Asher Bishop, which I'm quite happy about. So yeah, this was a fun time, despite having a few hiccups along the way. I'm sorry for that. It won't happen again, I promise. And of course, this 2022 is still fresh, and I'll change. I'll change for the better. So this will be the last time you'll hear like any profanity or whatnot. It's just like, and I better. And you know what? I shouldn't have like myself a little bot, like a little buddy. It's just like that can help me like get rid of these stupid spam bots, because they're freaking annoying. Anyways, that's gonna have to do it for this stream. I'm beat, and it's almost 5 o'clock around my area, which means I have to do my homework. So that's going to have to do it for the stream. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!